Let's get more details on Tuesday's election in Kenya. Let's cross live to Nairobi, where our reporter Aldrin Sampier is standing by to give us all the details pertaining to the polls that are expected to take place on Tuesday. Very good morning to you, Aldrin. Take it away. What can we expect from the elections?
Momentum is gaining up here in the Rift Valley province of Kenya as we anticipate Uhuru Kenyatta, the Jubilee leader and presidential candidate, to come and address people here at the Kong Stadium. As you can see, at the moment we have various people who are making their way. Of course, these are Jubilee Party members as well as supporters who are painting the town red. And earlier on, we were also at another place called Rodinga as well, where people are anticipating and waiting for the president to make it for the presidential motorcade to go through the towns. Even if you look through some of the towns and see all the posters that have been set up in anticipation of the August 8 elections that will be taking place. Of course, as we've been indicating, that this is a really tight election run between Raila Odinga as well as Uhuru Kenyatta. Of course, Raila Odinga from the Orange Democratic Movement has partnered with various opposition parties, and they now call themselves the National Super Alliance, and Raila Odinga is their presidential candidate. As we've indicated before as well, that this will be the fourth time that Raila Odinga is contesting the elections and has never been successful. Even if you look back at the 2007 elections, the disputed 2007 elections, where Mwakebaki won those elections and they were disputed, which then led to the ethnic violence that took place. About 1,000 people who were killed. Actually, one of these areas here in the Rift Valley province is among the 19 hotspots that have been identified, and police obviously keeping a close eye on the situation, as well as campaigning that has been taking place to ensure that there is no incidents of violence or clashes between the various party hopefuls as well as the party supporters as well. Earlier on, we had a NASA truck campaigning, running through this town, as I've been indicating, that the Rift Valley is a strong Jubilee hold. It's a strong hold for Uhuru Kenyatta because William Ruto is from around this area as well. Remember, back in 2007, that's when they decided to go through an alliance and set up the partnership that they have at the moment. That's William Ruto as well as Uhuru Kenyatta, and that's why William Ruto is the deputy of Uhuru Kenyatta. Well, they are quite confident that the Jubilee Party will win these elections. Raila Odinga as well. Also, the final push for the elections. He's at Uhuru Park back in Nairobi. We were there earlier on this morning, where the stage has been set up, and quite interestingly is that yesterday Uhuru Kenyatta was at the very same park, and this morning when we were passing by there, you could still see flyers from Jubilee members who were there yesterday already, celebrating with Uhuru Kenyatta, who has also made a plea of peace. And this has been something that has been emphasized even from the 4,000 observers, including former President Thabo Mbeki, for the former Ghanaian president as well as the ex-US Secretary of State John Kerry, who's among the observers here, to ensure that there is peace and stability. The police have indicated that they will remain on high alert. We understand that the KDF, that's the Kenyan Defence Force, has also been put on standby. You'd remember that a couple of days heading up to the elections, for instance, we had the Deputy President William Ruto's house, which was attacked by one man who managed to break into the house and managed to steal firearms and shoot the police, but at least the police managed to quell the environment there and killed that particular person. A couple of days later, we then heard of Chris Msando, who is the head of the IEBC, or was the head of the IEBC's IT Development Center, and he was found dead on Saturday. So it's just been a week since he was found dead. That investigation is still ongoing, and that's the reason why there's so much anxiety amongst some Kenyans as to whether these elections will be free and fair without any incidents. And even if you listen to Raila Odinga's what some call the 90-minute long presidential interview, which was supposed to have been a presidential debate, between Raila Odinga as well as Uhuru Kenyatta. Raila Odinga indicated that they will only accept the elections if they are free and credible. And the IEBC, this is the Electoral Commission of Kenya, has its hands full to ensure that those elections are free and fair. And something quite interesting as well is that NASA, the National Super Alliance, which Raila Odinga is of course leading, they have their own telecenter which will be also telling some of the votes. So it'll be quite interesting to see what happens if the numbers of the two institutions, that is the IEBC, which is expected to make the announcement of the elections on the 9th, as soon as the 9th of August, and that of the NASA's telling center, if those numbers do not correlate, what happens then in that case? However, though, the IEBC is sure that they will make sure that these elections will be free and fair, but most importantly, that the elections are credible. It's back to you in studio.
Thank you so much to our reporter out there in Nairobi. That is Aldrin Sampear. He is covering the hotly contested elections in Kenya that will be taking place on Tuesday. And we've just found out from him that where they are currently, they are waiting for Jubilee Party President Odinga to come and address his followers there.